Again, I refuse to lead people somewhere that I wasn't willing to go myself. And sometimes that's what your integrity needs, is you to be like, okay, I have to fucking go first. Because that is what leaders do, is they go first.
Welcome to Did I Stutter with Jill Perick. And yeah, I probably did because I have a stuttering disability. But I'm also a multiple six-figure business and mindset coach who's here to help you shut down the mindfuckery of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and playing the nice girl in your content so you and your brand can blow the fuck up and so you can stack the motherfucking cash. I'm holding absolutely nothing back. We're talking marketing, messaging, mindset, subconscious healing, nervous system regulation, and how to do it all even with raging anxiety, ADHD, and just being a fucking human. If fuck is one of your favorite words and nothing can get in between you, your iced coffee, or the work that you're here to do, I'm your girl. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the pod, you guys. Okay, we are in January. We are gearing up for the year of the horse. This is also a fire year. Don't ask me specifics because I don't really know a lot about astrology, but I do love my TikTok astrologers. And we already know that 2025 was like year of the snake. It was the year of shedding and just having to go through things so you can come out on the other side. Okay. And now we're in year of the horse. And it's also, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a fire year. I personally am an Aries. I also have a Sagittarius rising. So 2 fire signs in my big 3, I guess you could call it. So we are starting off the year strong. We are launching like a fucking rocket ship. And there's 2 ways that you can work with me. And if you DM me podcast, you will get an additional incentive on top of joining either of these containers. So the first thing is the Real Deal Mastermind. This is my signature mastermind to help you go from wherever you are to 10K to 20K cash months through conviction and full belief in yourself and your offers, through content that actually converts, that shares your true authentic self and actually says the shit that you want to say, and that will actually convert the lurkers, the people in your follower list to dream clients, and then capacity to receive and hold it all. Capacity to actually be able to receive the money that you want, to hold the amount of clients that you want to serve, and to be able to do it fucking all so you can scale to those 10K to 20K cash months. Those are the core codes inside of the Real Deal Mastermind. So would love for you to join. And when you do join, you join for 12 months. So you're all the fuck in when you join the Real Deal Mastermind. Okay, so that's the first container. The second one is the Quantum Quarter. Now we're getting to the end of January, and I usually sell this offer at the top of each quarter. So this is the last week for you to join the Quantum Quarter, and this is a 1-to-1 3-month container that is going to skyrocket you into the rest of 2026. This is for the person. I don't care how much you've made. I don't care who the fuck you think you are. This container is about like radical responsibility, radical action, and we are going balls to the wall. The reason why it's not like a group container or something and it is simply 1-to-1 is because we are going so hard. You are getting custom support. You are getting the exact things you need to say in your content and how you show up and how you sell, so you can collapse time and truly create a quantum quarter. So Q2 looks completely different from Q1 because you did all the hard identity and scaling work inside of Q1. So that is the Quantum Quarter. That is a 3-month 1-to-1 container. And then I also have packages for 1-to-1 coaching that are different than the Quantum Quarter. And those are for 6 months or 12 months. Okay. So that is how you can come in and work with me this year, in the beginning of this year, and send me a DM with a podcast, and you will get an additional incentive on top of joining those containers. Okay, so what's next? Today I would love to talk to you about 5 very like ruthless things I did over the past year or so I could create the results that I have now. Okay, like over 200,000 in sales from August until now, and it just continues to stack after having like a pretty shitty beginning of 2025 and feeling like, okay, my recurring income is dwindling and feeling like I don't really have that solid belief in myself and I need to build it all back up, right? And just having a completely different business now, having a signature container that I'm obsessed with, that I love, and I love the clients inside of there, higher cash months. My husband and I are planning to go to Italy in May. We're going to start planning to have a baby. Like, all of these things are happening, and it is because I did the fucking work last year. And these are also some things that I did earlier on than in the last year, but I combined some things that I really had to do that are so out of the norm. And I think that is something that I really want to double down here is like, it is out of the norm to grow an online business. It is out of the norm to show up online and to say, hey, purchase this from me. It is out of the norm to charge what coaches charge. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's different than your everyday life. So if you are listening to this, if you are a loyal listener to the podcast, if you are somebody who is in the online space, if you are somebody who is not quite reaching the potential you know that you have, it's probably because you're not doubling down on these things because it feels weird. It feels out of context. It feels like, you know, who am I to do this? Like, who am I to act like this or think like this or do this? And I want to tell you, it is exactly what's required for you to make big fucking money and for you to have a successful online business. I don't even mean like, oh, like if you don't do these things, like you'll be okay. Like, you actually need to think differently and be differently. That is in English, but you know exactly what I'm saying, in order to have the success that you want online, okay? So here are 5 things that I did that have catapulted me into the success that I have and that I continue to stack and create. Okay, so I stopped talking about my business with everyone except the people that I fucking hired. And this is something that I started doing pretty early on because I learned the lesson that whenever I used to talk about my business with my dad or with my mom or with even some of my like closest girlfriends or with my husband even, you know, that's controversial. You know, there's a lot of people online that will say shit like I think it's toxic if you don't tell your husband about your business or about your investments. I'm going to say something so controversial. My husband didn't know when I invested in my first coach or even my second coach or my third coach. I told him I was doing things, but he didn't know so intimately the exact things I was doing. Now, I'm gonna say that this is a caveat here where like if you are sharing expenses where he's paying your bills, I think that is a different conversation, of course, but I have never been that person and I have always made my own money and worked for my own money, and as long as I could contribute to what I needed to contribute to, I did whatever the fuck I wanted. And I continue to. And he knows that. And he fully fucking knows that. We have a more like modern kind of relationship anyways when it comes to those things, because I'm a raging feminist and I make my own money and I will always do that. And I didn't tell him because here's the thing. Most people will project their limitations onto you a lot of the time subconsciously, right? A lot of the time they are just saying things to protect you. They are just saying things like, oh, it could not work out or this or that. And it's not that they don't believe in you, but that's how you are going to take it. I remember when I was launching a mastermind with a friend years ago. And I said to my dad, I said, oh yeah, we're gonna try and hit like 100K launch goal. Obviously 100K in sales. And he said, that's kind of lofty, don't you think? And I always thought about that being like, okay, but so what if it's lofty? Ruby just jumped up on the couch and she looked like fucking Mufasa because she couldn't get all the way up and she struggled so hard to get up. You're so funny. So I was like, okay, so what if it's lofty? Like, and you know what's hilarious is we totally hit it. And I think it's so funny because it was at the time where I still did take into consideration people's thoughts and opinions, and I would tell them things because I was just so used to doing that. I have never been a person that needed somebody else's opinion to make a decision. And actually, I think that's a big reason why I'm so successful and why I can do things super quickly is because I don't really give a fuck what somebody else thinks about what I'm going to do, but I would still share it with everybody. I would still share it with like my family or my friends or blah, 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 blah. And I just never got the reaction that I needed. I never got the reaction that was going to empower me or encourage me. I would even tell like a close girlfriend about the results I was getting and the sales I was making and blah, blah, blah. And because her husband, he also owns his own business, she would always say, oh, don't forget to think about taxes. And she would say that after every result that I would tell her about, and like big result. And I know that these people were trying to protect me, take care of me, all of these things, right? But it wasn't helpful. It was actually discouraging because I realized it isn't about me. It's people projecting their limitations onto you. And I needed to stop letting that type of energy anywhere near the goals that I had. I think I've talked about this, but my husband has like a blue collar job. So like he understands what I do, but not really. And that really isn't a problem at all in our relationship because I don't allow it to be. It isn't because I come to him and I tell him all these things. And then if he doesn't respond how I need him to respond, I freak out or blah, blah, blah. I just don't tell him things that I know he's going to say like, oh, like you should do this or you should do that. For example, I said something like, because I switched over from, I think it was when I was switching over from ConvertKit to just doing emails on Kajabi, there was some type of glitch and I got like a bunch of unsubs from an email. And I said that because I was sitting at the kitchen counter and he was cooking us supper and we were blah, 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 blah. And he was like, well, how often are you emailing? You don't want to send them emails often because then they can unsubscribe. And I was just like, I love you so much. Thank you so much for your thoughts. And this is a reminder as to why I don't say these things out loud because like, he's just trying to be helpful. He's just trying to be helpful, but that doesn't do anything for me. And it's not going to do anything for the future of my business or blah, 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 blah. So you need to be cognizant of your energy. You need to be cognizant of the fact that like when you allow people into it, they have an impact on it. And your subconscious and your energy is actually so much more sensitive than you realize. And this isn't something where you don't have any resilience. And if somebody has a comment to you, you spiral out and you freak the fuck out. Absolutely not. You are just discerning with who you share things with. So I stopped talking about my business with everybody except the coaches that I hired, except the people that were doing the exact same things as me. And I fucking flourished because of it. So this is your sign to stop telling your fucking husband about every little thought you have, because even though you absolutely love him and you're obsessed with him, and I love that for you, unless he is doing the exact thing that you're doing, it's not going to be helpful. Stop telling your family and your friends who don't get it. And every time you leave that conversation, you actually kind of feel worse because that's okay. Have those conversations in your masterminds. Have those conversations with your clients. Have those conversations with fucking coaches that you hire who are paid to help you fucking flourish. Okay? That was the first one. The second thing I did is I embraced the cringe and went full force into my scripting, gratitude, and visualization routines. Like, I stopped caring how crazy I seemed spending time on these things. How I would constantly have a thought of like, is this really helpful, as I was journaling or as I was scripting or as I was talking out loud the gratitudes that I had for that day, or as I was like repeating affirmations to myself while I did my hair and while I did my makeup in the morning. When I was like actually like visualizing the success of signing clients and receiving this and receiving that. And I just went full fucking force into it instead of caring, oh, is this working? Oh, is this something that people are going to hear I do and they're going to think I'm insane? Or is this stupid? Right? Because when you are somebody who, I don't know, has been judged for the things that you like, or, you know, you're a person that is growing an online business and everyone around you has no idea what the fuck you're doing, right? It's really easy to tell yourself like, oh, I don't need to do all these things and blah, 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 blah. But as I was saying before, your subconscious is so sensitive and impressionable. Your energy is so sensitive and impressionable, especially within the first couple of years. You are priming your subconscious to think differently, to move differently, to experience differently. And these things actually help your creativity. These things actually help you stay more optimistic or open to receive. Because I don't know about you, but again, I grew up extremely normal. I have a very like cynical, fucking sarcastic family. Everyone around me, because I'm in a small town, everyone around me works blue collar jobs, or they work their 9 to 5s and they do the same thing for 30 plus years. And I do something different than the majority of the people that I am surrounded by. So by creating a little pocket of like, this is for me and this is a part of the business, it's something fun that's also a part of the business. I see these routines and the affirmations I do every day and my little gratitudes I do every day, like even if it's just for 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of the workday, I see that as important to the business. It's not just about creating content and showing up. I see it as I'm actually priming my energy and my subconscious mind for the work that I'm about to do. It's not cringe. It's actually a money-making activity. It's actually a sales activity. The next thing I did is I invested double what my own rates were, because I refused to lead people somewhere that I wasn't willing to go myself. And again, this is controversial, but I think it's important to say, because I would not be here without the investments that I made. And I would not be here without doing those things and putting them on credit cards, on lines of credit, on believing that this is going to be worth it. And again, this is my own experience. If you don't have this experience, or if you don't think the same that I do, that's okay. But truly for me, I knew that it was a fucking risk. And I was worth that risk. And honestly, that is what it comes down to sometimes, is do you believe that you can make it back? Do you believe that it's going to be worth it? And think about all the businesses that people create in the world, and they go and they get investors, or they borrow money, or they take out a loan. And for some reason, there is this shame associated to doing that as an online business owner, as a woman even. And I had to get the fuck over that. I have to say, the impulsiveness that I had, the risk taking that I had in the beginning of growing this business is why I'm here today. And my ability to make an investment because I know that I'm capable of making it back. And again, with the conversation that we're having about like talking to my husband about certain things and blah, 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 he always says that I'm good for it. He says like, even if you tell me, oh, I made like this investment or I did this. Like, he's like, I always know that you're good for it. And first of all, if your husband doesn't think that, fucking dump the chump. Like, he's a loser. But secondly, like, I know that I'm good for it. I know that even if I do something that's scary and I make a big investment, it's worth it. For example, this past summer, the summer of 2025, I reinvested into a year-long mastermind. It was with a brand new coach. I had never worked with her at all before. And I was coming off of an investment that I made that was not good. It was a mess. I was going to join a close proximity mastermind. It ended up being like not what I actually wanted. And it was just a huge fucking issue. I actually talk all about this specifically in the rebirth receipts, but it didn't work out. So I was kind of turned off from investing. And I told myself, I was like, I don't need to do that any longer. I'm still paying for this investment that I fucking made that I'm not using. That's a whole other story. And I'm still paying for it because I have integrity and I'm going to continue to pay for it because I signed a contract and all of these things, but I don't need to hire again. Like, I can hold off. And then I did like a $33 offer with this coach, which is the coach I'm working with now. And there was something inside me being like, you need to join her mastermind now. Like, you need to join her mastermind. I also saw that she was like doing this in-person event. It was going to be in Toronto, and I live about an hour and a half north of Toronto. And I was like, oh my God, like, I haven't been to an in-person event for work in so long. And I was like, okay, I really want to go to this. If I could consider having a new coach, like, what would this look like? And I signed a 12-month contract. And it's a big payment every single month. It's a big payment. And I was so afraid of doing it. But I almost was like, okay, I have to push the envelope and take a risk, or I'm going to sit stagnant for even longer. And I was done with it. And sometimes if you understand yourself, if you know yourself and you know this is something I need to do so I can feel the edge of a risk that I'm taking, and you have to do it. And that was the best thing I did. And then less than 90 days later, I signed on for another 2 years with her because I was like, I know that this is going to hold me accountable. Even though I don't need to be held accountable to showing up and all of this shit. Like, I've been doing this shit for years, but it was holding me accountable to that next level version of me, to raising the bar, to raising the standards. And that was the best decision that I made. Not only because of her, but because of me. Because I took a risk on my fucking self. And I was like, okay, I am going to do this and it's going to be scary. And slowly I started seeing the impact of what that did to my own belief and my own conviction. Because if I am investing fucking double what my own rates currently were, I can see, like, okay, if I can see that I am going to do this and that multiple other people are going to do this too, I can believe that there are people out there who are going to pay me for the work that I do, and they're going to pay me exactly what I deserve to be paid as a service provider, as a coach. So again, I refuse to lead people somewhere that I wasn't willing to go myself. And sometimes that's what your integrity needs, is you to be like, okay, I have to fucking go first. Because that is what leaders do, is they go first. And again, this is not financial advice by any means necessary. But sometimes you need to take that risk on yourself that everyone else would say is fucking crazy and stupid and you shouldn't do it. But something in you is saying, if I don't do this, I am going to say exactly where I am. Next thing I did, number 4, is I created an alter ego with delusional self-belief and showed up as her until I became her. Again, you're gonna feel like, who the fuck is this bitch? Who do I think I am? But this version of me sold, posted, and led with unapologetic conviction every single day. She didn't make excuses about why she couldn't or didn't have the time. She was different than how everyone else saw me, in my personal life, or how I thought people online saw me. And I was just like, nope, that there is this coach version of me that is fucking like ruthless, relentless, bold, out there. She says the cunty thing online. And instead of being like, oh, well, that's not how I always am behind the scenes, like when I'm going to sleep or something stupid like that, like I just fully created this alter ego with delusional self-belief and showed up as her until that felt so normal and natural, because that's who I really am. But it was underneath all of the people pleasing, under all the conditioning, under the beliefs that I had about myself and my worthiness and my stutter and all of these other things. But curating an online persona is your first step, is like curating that version of you, because that is coach you, and that is who your clients are going to get, is that version of you. So I fucking continued to show up as her, because I knew even if my online persona is not exactly who I am behind the scenes, that's actually what's required. Because if you're going to stand out online, you need to like amp yourself up a little bit more. Your opinions, your beliefs, how you say things, how you show up. And that's what I truly believe. Okay. And the last thing I did, I saw everything as fucking evidence. An angel number, a defaulted payment, a random $44 sale, all evidence that it was all working. I never played the victim. I never say it's not working, because I know it is always working. I am constantly stacking proof and staying in the fucking game. I am always seeing things as a meaning, as like, okay, it's all working. Even if angel numbers are bullshit, which they might be, but they're not. I fully believe that they're not, because if I see it, I'm like, oop, good things are coming. If I see something that says, yep, 2025 was year of the snake and it was shit, I'm like, fuck yeah. And now we're coming into a new year and it's going to be fucking incredible. I am seeing everything as reasons to believe that it is always working, because that is what keeps me going and what keeps me stacking and what keeps me inside the fucking game. Because if you are constantly just building evidence as to why things are not working and why things don't work out, and again, that is how our subconscious is created. It is created to look for the loss. It is created to look for the things that we are losing out on. It is created to look for the things that we need to be cognizant of and aware of and afraid of. And you need to realize that in order to grow a successful online business, you need to think in the fucking opposite direction of that. You need to see everything as it is always working for me. Every comment, every like, every piece of engagement, every open from my fucking emails. Like, I don't give a shit if people don't click on links. If people are opening and they're reading it and they aren't unsubscribing, I'm Gucci. Like, I fucking love it. I don't care if I get 3 views on an Instagram, because I know one of those 3 views is going to turn into a high ticket client. I see everything as evidence. And when you start seeing it as evidence too, instead of it isn't enough, everything fucking opens up for you. So this is the identity work that makes strategy actually work. The only allowing certain people to be in your energy, actually curating your energy, right, with scripting and gratitude and all of that fucking shit, investing at your edge and taking a risk on yourself, because that's exactly what it is. Investing in yourself is just self-trust in action. Investing in yourself is just self-trust in action. Creating an alter ego with delusional self-belief and showing up as her when you show up online and when you create your reels and when you do your talking head stories and all of that fucking shit, and seeing everything as it's always working. Again, this is the identity work that creates the strategy to actually work. These are the internal shifts that make your content convert. And this is the capacity that has helped me build 10K to 20K consistent cash months. And this is exactly what happens inside of the Real Deal Mastermind and inside of my one-to-one offers. Send me a DM with podcast to get an additional incentive for joining these offers. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next week.